I was away, managed to get a couple of days away, which was very rare with the family. We just headed over to Arran. It was a nice day. We were just sitting messing at the beach. Alan phoned me, something I fully wasn't expecting. He required me to come in and kind of oversee the first team for the game at St Mirren, and yeah, it was just about refocusing and getting home as quickly as I could. So I'm familiar with the players at this point, but not on the training pitch and what their day-to-day looks like. But it was about getting as much detail into one session as we could, and then going and approaching a very tough game considering the circumstances what we're going in. And we went and we put a performance on that we were really proud of, considering, as I said, what the players have been through. Not just that week with Sligo, but the results in the previous 6 months weren't as good as they should have been. I think Liam's made 1 or 2 excellent saves to get us over the line, but you know, that's why he's here, and that's why he's a top goalkeeper. So we go down to 10 men late in the game, and they put pressure on. In terms of what our preparation was and what we had going into the game, it was a magnificent 3 points for us. Even for myself, it was a relief from a fan's point of view, actually watching the team winning the game, because it was a tough week for everyone associated. You never want to be involved in a manager losing his job, and you know, it was something we all had to get over quickly and put aside just for those few hours during the match day.
Oh, what a feeling, mate, what a feeling.
It was a difficult post-match against St Johnstone for sure. Still thinking about it now, massive disappointment that we didn't at least take a point, and we score so late and we make a mistake building up to a set piece, and then we don't defend the set piece. So yeah, thinking about it now, it's still a difficult one to look back at and take, but losing that and the magnitude of the game, I felt that it was probably going to be the week after that they were going to make a decision on who the next manager was going to be. And at that point in time I was thinking, was that something that's maybe cost me in terms of that opportunity? Getting the job and officially being the manager at that point, we got more time to work with the players on a certain game plan for that match against Aberdeen, and I think the players took it on board, and we were excellent in the game. The fact we scored and then went behind to then still win that game showed great character and belief within the squad, and on top of the natural ability obviously that the players have. And the mood in the dressing room was really positive. It was a good start to the season. On paper it was 3 very difficult matches, but to come away with 2 wins in those matches was positive, especially away to St Mirren, away to Aberdeen, very difficult venues. The 1-0 results, and when you haven't been at your absolute best, are vital to a season, and when you come away and say that wasn't the perfect performance but it was a great win for us, and that was certainly one of them. It was a proud moment in my career, and just being part of Motherwell, it's probably the most moment that I'll probably never forget. A home game to Livingston, I mean, that doesn't sound like that, but what was attached with it, officially first home game as a manager, the reaction I got for the fans and the banners and stuff like that. A lot of family came to that game as well. It's been a tough time, a tough couple of years for the family as well, so as much as it was important to me and the fans, it's been an important time for my family, and to kind of be together and get behind this as well. Credit to Kilmarnock, a game that we should have been better in the final stages. The pitch is an issue there. It is, you know, what to start with an excuse on a game, but the pitch is an issue. First half I thought we played really well. The goal we scored was excellent. Everything that we worked on in terms of counter movements and penetration and being good individually in the final third, I thought the goal we scored was excellent. Kevin, brilliant finish. If I remember correctly, we have 1 or 2 really good chances to go 2-0 up. We don't take them, and then we concede again, similar to the St Johnstone game. The fine details on the set pieces what cost us at the very least a point. And it was something that I've touched on after the last game before the break about drawing games. Never really happy drawing a match that we feel like we could potentially win, but these were games that we should be at the very least okay, we'll take a point and we'll move on. So that was the frustration after that game. We were playing Inverness in the League Cup. I don't think we're at the level where we can just dismiss a team and think, especially such a good team, to think we can just turn up and win this game. I think our mentality and our attitude to it and our preparation had to be spot on, which it was. I think it was Matt Penny's first game that came in as well, so we were introducing new players slowly into the team as well, and the performance was excellent. We were playing forward, we scored a lot of good goals in the game, could have been more clinical also. I think that was also the game where Lennon made his debut, so all round it was a real positive night for us.
There's always going to be competition on the pitch, like we said, but there's also competition in here. There's new boys come in, the boys that come in today have done great. There's competition every day. We need to be sharp every single day. We need to be ready to press like that and get after the ball like that, but on top of that, show our quality as well.
Thinking back at that match is how I felt after it. We had a really strong start to the season. We played better against Dundee United than we did against Inverness during the week. I think the stats and what we looked after the game kind of confirmed that, and we just couldn't find a way to score a goal. We want to be known for being a good football team, so to see the boys play the way they did, and we were really good. All that was missing was that finishing touch, including a penalty, so it was just a game that just wasn't to be. Hearts was very similar. You look at the result and that won't reflect that, but we had a lot of chances in the Hearts game. The Hearts were clinical. It just shows you if you don't take your chances, you will get punished, and I think that game pretty much highlights that more than most. Yeah, after the international break we went to Parkhead to take on Celtic. Even for the moment you get there and you get off the bus, it's all designed to kind of intimidate. So you need to be at your absolute best going there, and you also need to ride your luck. I think we did that at the start. We conducted ourselves well for long spells of it, even up to the last 10 minutes where Roscoe's going through and potentially going to score, and then he gets hauled down at the end of the game. So, you know, we're really pushing and Celtic were holding on, so it kind of shows you it could have been a game that we took something from a very difficult venue. We travelled up on the day up to Dingwall. We'd done it all in one day. It was an eventful journey back as well. We didn't get home till about 5 o'clock in the morning, so it was a long day. We were playing well. The last couple of results leading into Ross County weren't what we wanted. First half there wasn't a lot in it at all, but felt comfortable throughout the game. And then as it went on, we dominated and we were clinical. We scored some really good goals. I was delighted with the way it turned out, and to score 5 goals away from home, I think that's equals the best ever away record. It's a very promising scoreline, and it was one that kind of raised a few eyebrows and made a little bit of a statement.
The boys' feet, see the boys' feet, that was a match ball there. This one, what's that one there? I'll keep this one, it's fine.
That was a period where we'd 3 very tough away games, as tough as it can get, within 6 days. I mean, we were at Easter Road, we were up at Ross County and away to Celtic, so it was a very tough 6 days for us. The fixtures were coming fast and they were getting more and more difficult. Sean should have scored. As the game progresses, again, there wasn't anything in the game at all. I remember it was just before VAR came in and we should have had the penalty. I think that's been cleared up as well after. It was game changing, momentum swing, big decision that didn't go for us. We ended up losing a man, going down to 10 men unfortunately, something that could have been prevented, and then losing a goal within that period as well. But again, with 10 men, we still pushed them. We could have potentially taken something from the game, even with 10 men. But yeah, if decisions go our way, maybe a more positive start to the game for us. I strongly believe every single game we've been in this season in the league, we've been competitive in. We could and should have potentially got something from every league game we've played in this season. Some games have been stuffier than others, and it's not been us at our fluent best. But at no point in this season have we thought in the league campaign we were well beaten there. Yeah, I mean the first half was maybe similar. It wasn't the best game. We were up against a very good team. Yeah, they were in a bad moment because they lost midweek, and it was a game we wanted to really go and capitalise on that. And I mean, you'll hear any manager and coach at any team speaking about fine margins, and that's exactly what we're speaking about. If we convert one of our chances that we have, it's come few and far between, like it or not, against these teams. So I mean, I think it's clear the goal that they score. It's something that you don't need to be coached or need to be a highly skilled analyst to understand what we can do better at that. Our boys travelled the full length of our pitch almost, no foul, no challenge. that's a goal that's very avoidable. It was good to see Stuart McKinstry scoring his first Motherwell goal against Rangers. Delighted for him. He tells me that he meant it, so who am I to argue with that? So we wanted a home tie. We want a home tie to then progress towards a trip to Hampden, which was, as the goal, which is about as tough as it could have got. Even by their staff's admission, it was one of their best performances of the season. But up till a certain point, I felt we were very competitive. The first goal we conceded before half-time, which is probably the worst point to concede against Celtic, and then Celtic took over for the latter stages. So I think in terms of that game, it was a disappointment because it was a cup. The level of goals that we conceded in that game were nowhere near what a team that we've got should be conceding. Like most weeks, we need to start the game fast, we need to start the game on the front foot. It didn't turn out like that at all. I think it was a debut for VAR as well, and the ball in play after the game was very low. This is what it brings, this is what VAR brings, and you're always asked a question on it, so it always feels like you're moaning, or there's someone's moaning or complaining or making excuses for losing a game. So it's a very difficult when you're asked the question about it and not coming across as if, oh, we're making an excuse again for losing a game. But I think in those circumstances, the Aberdeen game especially, I think we had 2 or 3 claims at a penalty within a 20-second period, even less than that. But then the full-time whistle goes, it was dismissed, everything's been checked, and then we look at it back when we get in and think at the very least it should have been taking a little bit longer than that period of time to come to that conclusion. So yet again, consistent with this little run that put a lot into, but fell just a little bit short, unfortunately. At Tannadice, it was more pragmatic, it was more of a fight, it was more of a roll our sleeves up approach. We understood if we won the game what it would do in terms of the distance between us and them, and it's the same players and it's the same kind of group that we're asking to go again and again. The games were coming thick and fast, but ultimately we lost a couple of games going into it. Again, it wasn't our best, most fluent performance at all, but we came away with a win. I felt a well-deserved win, and I felt comfortable. Liam was one save from a tight angle, a save that you would fully expect him to make. So it was a game where you say, you know what, the 3 points is the most important thing going into it, and we managed to get that, so absolutely delighted about it. The message after it was almost kind of mission accomplished in terms of that game. We'd done what we set out to do. It wasn't the most prettiest performance, but we'd done enough in the game to win it.
Well done, boys. Well done, boys.
After winning at Tannadice, it was important to us that we wanted to continue that momentum and build on the win with another strong performance at Tynecastle. We concede from a set piece, something we've been relatively strong at, something we work at, but the goals we concede just before half-time, a poor goal, and then after half-time against 10 men. It's still a bit raw. We showed great character after that to get back in the game. We dominated it. We created a lot of chances. We scored 2 good goals. Kev had another one disallowed. Unfortunately, it was a magnificent goal. Blair's been excellent for us. It's a magnificent goal again that he scores. He's penetrating, he's being confident in his ability. Bearing in mind he got rushed to hospital during the Hibs game. He's playing with cracked ribs. He's going through every game, probably in pain for us. He's putting his body on the line for us, which is testament to him. And for that moment to be the deciding factor, especially so late in the game, is one that still right now hurts. The scenario that we found ourselves in and what we put into that game, we should have been coming away with something for sure. I think worst case, you come away and you think, okay, we've put a lot into that, it was a good game of football, come away with a 2-2 draw. Tynecastle isn't a disaster by any stretch of the imagination, so to then somehow find a way to lose that game is frustrating and something we need to be better at. It was a tough run of fixtures, I think, October, November. We were picking up injuries along the way and we were really down to the bare bones. We were probably right at the limit with the squad in terms of what we can do and what we can't do. We've got 16-year-old boys filling the bench up that are fantastic young players, absolutely fantastic young players. They'd beat us in the Cup a couple of weeks previous, so we wanted to get after them, we wanted to be fast out the blocks and we wanted to really press them. That then had its toll on the players towards the end of the game. The second half, it was always the plan to then get after them more and put them under pressure more, which I think we've done. Essentially, the players headed the ball onto the pitch in the build-up to their goal. It's going into an attacking zone for us, and it's probably going to result in, at the worst case, a cross into the box from maybe about 15 yards out. So they play a great pass, and it's a clinical touch and finish from their point of view. But yeah, that just makes a frustrating result just a little bit more frustrating. We're travelling up to Perth. We understand how strong St Johnstone's home form is this season, especially. They've had some really impressive results there. So again, it was a very, very difficult away venue, and it was something we understood that we need to be at our very best to go up there and achieve anything. We tried to be as positive as we could with our team selection and get Kevin and Louis on the pitch together. It was maybe similar to Dundee United away, where it was a game we needed to get something out of, especially, like I said, it was 3 games in 6 days, again losing the 2 games previous. It was important that we picked something up, and I think even speaking to Callum after the game, I think that a point was a fair result. I felt we put a lot into it as well, and asking these boys again to just give us absolutely everything they can to then go into the break and we get a little reset, reassess, and hopefully fresh minds and fresh legs after the break and after the World Cup. Well, through this kind of first phase, we could have picked up more. The league's so tight. We're really trying to put together as much as we can, a team that the fans especially can associate with and be proud of, and really enjoy coming and watching, seeing. I know that, I understand that isn't every week. I've been at Motherwell most of my life now. I understand we're going to have ups and downs like we always have, and like we already have this season. I'm fully aware of that, but yeah, it's about being as positive as we possibly can from a fan's point of view, coming and backing the players like you do, and creating a real togetherness, and really put some positive performances and give the fans some more results and performances and points to get behind.